Maybe you're watching this after work, scrolling your bank app, wondering why enough never arrives for you lately. If money stress has followed you even on good days, tap. Like so, this reaches more people today. Comment where you're watching from and whether you feel enough or not yet, just one word below, please. If someone you love is quietly struggling, share this video as a small kindness, not a lecture tonight. And if calm, honest money talks help you breathe easier, subscribe for new videos that stay grounded weekly. My name is Max, and I used to look fine on paper while feeling broke in my body. A few years ago, my salary climbed, my friends congratulated me, and my anxiety quietly climbed too inside. I'd hit a savings milestone, then immediately think, what if one emergency wipes this out tomorrow completely again? I wasn't shopping wildly, I was upgrading little things. Rent, car, subscriptions, until my fixed costs felt heavy everywhere monthly. That's the trap. You can earn more, invest more, and still never feel rich for long at all. Today I want to explain why that happens, without shame, and with a few practical ways out too. First, feeling rich is not a number. It's your sense of safety, control, and breathing room each day. In late 2025, Americans saved about 3.5% of income, which leaves many people feeling exposed most months still. When your buffer is thin, your brain treats every bill like a threat, even with a decent paycheck. Second, lifestyle creep is sneaky. Comfort upgrades become obligations, and obligations quietly steal your freedom over time fast. Third, comparison warps reality. Because we mostly see highlights, not debt, not stress, not private arguments behind screens. Household debt keeps rising too, topping $18 trillion in 2025. So many wins feel fragile right now. So if you've ever thought, I should feel successful, why don't I? You're not broken at all here. We'll use 3 new measures: safety, choice, and stability. So progress feels real, not just impressive on paper anymore either. By the end, you'll have a simple 7-day reset to build breathing room and reclaim your calm today. Let's start with the first thief of feeling rich: lifestyle creep, the silent inflation of your normal life. You get a raise, then upgrade your car, then insurance rises, then maintenance hits, and the raise disappears. Nothing feels crazy, but your monthly fixed costs grow until your paycheck feels pre-spent before it arrives. When fixed costs climb, your financial flexibility shrinks, and flexibility is what your nervous system calls safety. That's why 2 people earning the same income can feel totally different, depending on what they owe monthly. Old Max didn't notice this. I celebrated raises while quietly building a life that demanded raises forever. Here's a quick test. If you lost income for 60 days, would your life stay stable or panic fast? If the answer is panic, you don't need more status. You need more buffer and fewer obligations. And yes, prices matter, but the bigger issue is commitment, because commitments don't negotiate with your mood. The second thief is comparison, and it works even if you swear you don't care about social media. Your brain still absorbs the normal you see: vacations, kitchens, clothes, without seeing credit cards behind them. You compare your real life to someone else's edited life, then conclude you must be behind, even when you're rising. And this is why feeling rich is relative. The target moves every time your reference group changes. If your friends upgrade neighborhoods, schools, and vacations, your old wins can suddenly feel small overnight. That doesn't mean you're failing, it means your measuring tape is attached to other people's highlight reels. Try this reframe. Compare yourself to you 12 months ago, not to strangers with filters and sponsors. The third thief is the insecurity gap, when you don't have enough liquid safety to relax fully. Even wealthy-looking households can feel trapped, because money tied up in stuff doesn't pay emergencies easily. A high income with low cash reserves can feel scarier than a modest income with a solid buffer. When you lack buffer, you don't feel rich. You feel one surprise away from humiliation, debt, or chaos. In 2025, total U.S. household debt reached about $18.6 trillion, which explains why so many people feel tight. Debt isn't just math. It's a monthly claim on your future, and your brain feels that pressure daily. So the question isn't, how much do I make? It's, how much can I keep flexible? This is where feeling rich begins. Not with luxury, but with options you can actually use. Option number 1 is time. Being able to take a day off without fear or scrambling bills afterward. Option number 2 is boundaries. Being able to say no to a toxic job, client, or overtime demand. Option number 3 is resilience. Being able to handle a surprise expense without borrowing and spiraling mentally. That's why I define rich as safety plus choice, not a number you screenshot for bragging rights. If you only chase bigger numbers, your lifestyle expands to match and the finish line stays far away. But if you chase safety and choice, you can feel rich earlier, even while you're still building. Now, let's make this practical with 3 simple measures you can check in under 5 minutes tonight. Measure 1 is safety. How many months of essential expenses can you cover with cash right now? Essential means rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, minimum debt payments, insurance, and transportation to work. Measure 2 is stability. What percentage of your income is locked into fixed commitments you can't cut quickly? When stability is low, you're fragile. When stability improves, your mind stops scanning for danger constantly. Measure 3 is choice. How long could you survive if you quit a job you hated tomorrow? Notice these measures focus on breathing room, not lifestyle signals, because signals don't protect you in emergencies. Old Max was obsessed with signals. Nice place, nice car, while ignoring the quiet math underneath everything. I looked successful, but I couldn't relax because a single surprise could reset me back to zero. If that's you, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help you rebuild your baseline calm. Before we fix anything, we need to name the emotional truth. Money anxiety is often about uncertainty, not spending. Your brain doesn't crave luxury, it craves predictability, because predictability feels like safety to your nervous system. That's why even good earners can feel poor, while some modest earners feel steady and surprisingly calm. So here's the shift. Stop asking, how do I look? And start asking, how safe do I feel? This isn't about deprivation. It's about designing a life that doesn't require constant financial vigilance. Let me share a friend's story. Jake, smart, hardworking, 6-figure income, and still awake at 2 a.m. Jake told me, Max, I make more than my parents ever did, but I feel behind every month. We opened his numbers and the pattern was clear. His fixed costs consumed his freedom before groceries. New car payment, upgraded rent, multiple subscriptions, and a few small loans that added up quietly. He wasn't irresponsible, he was normal, doing what America tells you to do when you finally earn more. But normal doesn't always mean healthy, especially when your lifestyle becomes a machine that must be fed weekly. The breakthrough wasn't earning more, it was reducing commitments so his money could breathe again. We made one rule: every new upgrade must buy freedom, not just comfort or validation from strangers. Freedom means lower fixed costs, higher buffer, and fewer payments that follow you into every month. Jake didn't downgrade his entire life. He chose one lever that created space without feeling punished. That lever was refinancing one obligation and canceling silent costs that were stealing cash flow invisibly. Within 3 months, his savings rate rose, but more importantly, his anxiety finally stopped screaming daily. He said, I didn't get richer overnight, but I started feeling rich for the first time. That's the point. Your nervous system recognizes breathing room faster than it recognizes a bigger net worth. Now I'll give you a 7-day reset you can do without spreadsheets or finance jargon. Day 1. List your fixed costs in one note: housing, car, insurance, minimum debts, and any must-pay subscriptions. Don't judge yourself. Just write the numbers because clarity is the first form of control. Day 2. Circle the biggest 2 commitments because small leaks matter but big weights change your breathing fastest. Ask, if I had to cut one, which would hurt least and free the most cash? Day 3. Pick one action: cancel, negotiate, refinance, or pause. Something that reduces a monthly obligation. Even a $100 reduction buys more calm than a $100 luxury because calm compounds in your decisions. Day 4. Build a mini buffer. Set an automatic transfer, even $25 into a separate safety account. The point is consistency, not heroics, because your brain trusts systems more than motivation bursts. Day 5. Create an emergency rule for spending. No purchases over $200 without sleeping on it once. That one-night pause blocks impulse upgrades and it protects you from buying stress disguised as comfort. Day 6. Reduce comparison exposure. Mute accounts that trigger scarcity even if you like the person. You can love someone and still admit their content hijacks your baseline, so protect your mind. Day 7. Redefine rich with one sentence you can remember when you feel behind. Try this. I feel rich when my bills are manageable and my choices are mine. Write it somewhere visible because your old measuring tape will return the moment you scroll again. Now, let's talk about a mistake that ruins this reset: trying to fix feelings with bigger purchases. Purchases can give a temporary high, but the monthly payment often becomes a long-term anxiety subscription. Your future self pays for your present self's insecurity, and that trade rarely feels worth it later. When you feel the urge to upgrade, ask, am I buying joy or buying proof? Proof is expensive because it requires an audience, and your audience never stops raising the bar. Joy is different. Joy fits your budget, doesn't demand debt, and still feels good when nobody notices. Another mistake is believing you'll feel rich only after a giant milestone like $1 million. Milestones help, but the feeling can vanish fast because your brain quickly treats new levels as normal. That's called hedonic adaptation. Humans adjust, then crave the next step, even when life is already better. So instead of chasing a forever moving finish line, build a baseline that makes ordinary days feel safe. Remember those three measures: safety, stability, and choice. Check them monthly like you check your weight. If safety grows, you'll sleep better. If stability improves, you'll breathe. If choice expands, you'll feel powerful. And when you feel powerful, you stop buying status to compensate for feeling trapped. This is also why housing pressure hits so hard. When shelter feels unstable, your whole life feels unstable. Even when affordability indexes improve a bit, many people still can't buy because real life includes debt and down payments. So don't compare yourself to average charts. Compare yourself to your own stability and what you can actually handle. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a plan that reduces panic and increases options over time. If you're building wealth slowly, you're not behind. You're building something that won't collapse when life gets messy. If you're paying down debt, you're not stuck. You're buying back your future cash flow and your mental space. If you're saving even small amounts, you're not failing. You're training your life to produce safety automatically. Let's recap the core truth. You may never feel rich if you measure rich as more than others. But you can feel rich sooner if you measure rich as enough safety and enough choice to breathe. Old Max didn't need a bigger paycheck first. I needed fewer obligations and a buffer I could trust. Once my buffer grew, my decisions got smarter, my spending slowed down, and my life finally felt lighter. That's the quiet secret. Calm creates better choices, and better choices create wealth without constant stress. If you're thinking, that's me, I want you to hear this clearly without shame or pressure today alone. You are not lazy, broken, or bad with money because your stomach tightens when bills hit monthly again. Costs rose fast, savings stayed thin, and comparison got louder, so your brain learned to stay on guard. The goal isn't to judge yourself, it's to build a system that makes ordinary days feel safe again. Start small, but start honest, because pretending you're fine keeps you trapped in silent stress longer than needed. Tonight, do a 5-minute check. Safety months, stability commitments, and choice runway, if income pauses suddenly right now. If one number scares you, that isn't failure. It's a flashlight showing where relief can begin first today. Pick one lever this week, just one. Because one lever creates momentum, your life can actually hold steady through storms. You don't need a total makeover. You need one change that buys breathing room and protects tomorrow too. When you feel a little safer, you stop craving expensive proof because steadiness starts living inside you quietly. Comment reset if you want to follow up with real examples, simple templates, and zero judgment for your situation. Also tell me your biggest pressure: housing, debt, family, or healthcare, so this community can meet you gently right here. I read the comments and I'm always struck by how many people carry the same fear silently daily. If this helped even a little, tap like so it reaches someone who needs calm more than tips. Subscribe if you want money conversations that feel human, practical, and kind. No hype, no shame, no flexing ever. Before I go, I want to share one memory, because this topic changed the way I breathe today. I remember sitting in my car after work, staring at my bank app, feeling ashamed for not relaxing. I had more than before, yet I felt less safe, and I couldn't explain that contradiction to anyone. Then I built my first real buffer, and my chest finally unclenched like someone turned down the alarm. Not because I was rich, but because I had space to handle life without panic. And you can too. If you know someone who smiles in public but panics in private, send them this video tonight, gently. You don't have to explain it perfectly, just say, I thought of you, and let the message land. Because sometimes support isn't advice. It's permission to stop feeling crazy for not feeling rich yet at all. If you're the one struggling, I'm glad you're here, and I'm proud you stayed listening until the end. Next video will break down fixed costs and buffers with simple examples. No spreadsheets required, I promise either. Until then, remember, progress is quieter than flexing, but it builds the kind of wealth you can keep. When your bills are manageable and your buffer is growing, Your body starts believing you're okay again finally. And that feeling is the real win, because from calm, you make choices that protect you long term every day. So take one small step this week and let that step be proof your story is changing now. If you want, pause this video and write your three numbers: safety, stability, choice, right on your phone today, please. Those numbers won't judge you, they'll guide you, and guidance is what anxiety secretly asks for most often. If your safety is low, start tiny. The goal is a habit your life can't easily break later. If your stability is heavy, look for one payment to reduce, not 10 things to punish yourself today. If your choice is near zero, build runway first. Freedom starts when you can handle a bad week. And if you're doing all three already, celebrate quietly. Your future self will thank you for this discipline soon. Okay, I'll stop here, but I'll leave you with one last line to carry into your week ahead. You don't need to feel rich today. You need to feel safer today, and that is achievable now. Thanks for spending these minutes with me and for choosing calm over comparison for a moment right now. Take care of yourself, and if you can, take care of someone else by sharing this video today. I'm Max, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep building breathing room, one choice at a time. Now we're moving into the deeper breakdown, because understanding the why makes the fix feel less impossible. Think of rich like a moving horizon. You walk toward it, and it steps backward whenever your expectations rise. Your expectations rise from three places: your lifestyle, your peers, and the economy's pressure on basic needs. When those rise faster than your confidence, your body interprets success as temporary, not stable, not safe. That's why a raise can feel good for a week, then vanish emotionally, even if the math improved slightly. Your brain adapts quickly to comfort, but it remembers fear longer, so fear stays louder in the background. This isn't weakness, it's biology, and it helped humans survive long before credit cards existed at all. But today, that survival system can mistake normal bills for danger, especially when buffers are thin. So we build buffers to teach the brain we can handle surprises, and that lesson changes everything. When your brain believes you can handle surprises, you stop overreacting, and your decisions get calmer instantly. Calmer decisions look boring, but boring is what builds wealth. Consistency, patience, and fewer emotional purchases overall. Emotional purchases often happen after stress, because buying creates a temporary feeling of control and relief. Then the bill arrives, and the relief flips into shame. And shame makes you hide, not plan, not ask for help. If you've been in that loop, you're not alone. It's one of the most common patterns I see. The way out starts with naming the trigger: stress, comparison, boredom, or the need to feel ahead quickly. When you name the trigger, you interrupt it, and interruption is the first step toward real change. Here's a simple rule: never spend to change your identity, because identity spending is never satisfied for long. Spend to support your life, your health, your relationships, and your future options. Those purchases age well. If you're unsure, ask, will I still feel good about this in 30 days with no likes involved? That question sounds small, but it protects you from buying an emotion that expires before the statement arrives. Let's ground this with one more real moment. My friend Maya called me crying after a great year. She got a promotion, posted the celebration, and still felt sick because her savings hadn't moved at all. Her income rose, but her life quietly expanded. Nicer apartment, more convenient spending, more just this once upgrades. She said, "Max, I feel ungrateful, but I'm terrified I'm one accident away from disaster." I told her, "You're not ungrateful, you're underbuffered, and your body is telling the truth." We did one exercise. We separated her money into three buckets: bills, buffer, and building wealth slowly. Bills stayed realistic. Buffer became non-negotiable, and building wealth became automatic, even if it started tiny. That structure didn't make her rich overnight, but it made her feel stable for the first time in months. Stability changed her behavior. She stopped doom scrolling, stopped impulse upgrading, and started sleeping through the night. That's why I keep saying this. Calm is not the reward at the end. Calm is the tool. When you feel calmer, you take fewer desperate risks, and you also miss fewer quiet opportunities to grow. Desperation makes people chase quick wins, but quick wins usually come with hidden costs and regret later. Calm makes you consistent, and consistency is what turns average decisions into a strong life over time. If you only remember one thing, remember this: rich is a feeling your systems create, not your ego. Build systems that lower fixed costs, increase buffer, and protect you from comparison, and the feeling follows. And if you're already doing that, please share your story in the comments because your honesty helps strangers. Someone watching right now needs proof that change is possible without perfect income, perfect discipline, or perfect timing. If this video gave you one clear step, share it with one person who's struggling, like passing a flashlight. That small act could reduce someone's shame, and shame is often the biggest barrier to financial progress. I'm Max. Thanks for trusting me with your time, and I'll see you next video, calmer and stronger.